All right. So before we do anything, we made a terrible, no good, very bad mistake.
But we did.
Cheeky, do you want to explain what you
Was it
said
like was
that
it
was
like that I
wrong?
got the Final Fantasy thing wrong?
No.
Oh, because I
The
did. We talked about that.
the in Zoro's backstory was Kuina's
Oh
dad's
yeah.
sex.
Okay. Correction.
I
Correction.
blame
Correction.
you for this.
I no. I was being too hyperbolic because I'm dumb and smug. Um. I said Toshiro never sexist to Kuina in the manga. Wrong. Kuina did say that her dad told her women cannot become master swordsmen, which is very specific. Whereas what I meant is that whole scene where Kuina eavesdrops and hears her dad be like, "She could never take over the dojo. Damn it, what do we do?" That scene, that was not in the manga. That didn't happen. Um,
Yep.
so whoops on my part.
Yep. And I'm very sorry
Otherwise,
for uploading it and not double checking.
it's
All
whatever.
right. So now that we got that out of the way, so I think the big topic today is stuff related to Bonnie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bonnie popular,
Yeah.
dude.
We got a lot of comments about how like Bonnie like ruins the power system because her powers are like too like flexible or like too broken or whatever. And to be honest, I don't want to delve into that because we don't really know the limits too well.
Yeah.
It's
And
just a
it's like
bit.
it doesn't ruin the power system because it's one fucking fruit in the hands of a child. I'm
Yeah.
not worried.
Yeah, and this is like one thing. Is just like people are like, oh, it took Luffy like a bajillion years to train to get strong enough for Gear 5, and just like you gotta remember, I don't think this Bonnie is as strong as Luffy because Luffy was already really strong before
Well,
Gear
this
5.
chapter made it latest chapter that technically doesn't have a Viz release yet. Made it blatantly clear that they are not.
Yeah, and like just like when people talk about how overpowered Neek is or whatever, I think you gotta remember, like Luffy was already like contending with Kaido in like
Yeah.
with Gear 2, Gear
Uh
3, and Gear 4,
what
and that.
people are forgetting is like Gear 4 Luffy was doing great at the very end. Like Kaido and Luffy are both like, we're about to have a head-to-head clash. One of us is gonna die, but we don't know who. They were doing fine.
Yeah, and like clearly Gear 5 is a good step above that, but at the end of the
Yeah.
day, like it can only do so much, right? I'd still say like even taking the awakening into account, the Gum Gum fruit is still worse than other fruits, I would say.
Yes. No, it's kind of the thing. That's why it's called the most ridiculous, not the most powerful. Because like, yeah, it's like what's a fruit that's actually called the most powerful? Like Whitebeard.
Or
Look at
Blackbeards.
Teach. Yeah, no, Whitebeard's too. Look at Teach like 5 seconds after eating the earthquake fruit, and look at what he could do compared to what Luffy could do 5 seconds after eating the gum gum fruit.
No, like not even 5 seconds after the Gum fruit. 5 seconds after awakening, what could Luffy do? Like yeah, he could punch an island away after awakening, and then like with Blackbeard, just like as soon as he gets the fruit, he's like shifting the seas and could probably destroy Marineford if he wanted to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's the interesting thing about I'm gonna keep calling it the gum gum fruits. I don't care. The gum gum fruit is one of the I would say less common devil fruits, where you actually start off pretty dog shit.
I mean, like that's part of the reason of the Recon thing, where like he was just a normal
Yeah.
Paramecia, and now he just has a really cool
No, but even
transformation at
within
the end.
Paramecia, I think he probably started
Oh
off
no, yeah,
like
definitely.
if I had to guess what other Paramecia probably like we know Kuma, the day he got the pawpaw fruit, saved I think hundreds of slaves. Or compare that to like fucking Dofi.
Luffy
I
versus
think
Hyuga.
I imagine Dofi's fruit was probably about as hard to master as Luffy's, as in you have to be very technical. But I would say generally most devil fruits, you start off kind of fucking already really strong. Ones that take time to learn are kind of unique.
Yeah,
Like obviously it takes time to be a fucking god, but like just to be like pretty strong, starting out kind of dog shit is I imagine pretty rare.
yeah.
From
You,
what we've seen, yeah, most people start off good. Hell, even garbage looking fruits like the bubble or the soap, whatever the fuck Khalifa has.
yeah.
She had that
Well, I
for
mean, I
what,
guess
like a
like to
few
be fair,
hours?
like they're adults who ate it, so they have a better grasp of
Yeah.
like fighting in general and stuff.
Yeah.
And
But even then,
like
it's not
with the
it's not like but she could like use its powers to some effect. Whereas like if she started with the gum gum fruit, she'd be like, okay, I guess my finger pistol's a little longer now. All right.
With Bonnie too, right? Like even if we assume that Bonnie is like physically speaking as strong as as Luffy is, like
Yeah,
which
which
I
makes sense.
doubt because of this last chapter. But she still doesn't have Future Sight Haki or like any of the advanced forms or just like the raw like endurance that Luffy has. Like
Yeah,
remember, Luffy could get like a
Luffy's.
hole in his stomach and still keep fighting because he's the strong, determined boy.
Yeah,
Could Bonnie do the same? That's questionable.
I doubt it because yeah, like even as a little kid, the one thing Luffy had going for him is shocker he could get up from like any hit.
Yeah. All right, now with that out of the way, let's talk about Mr. Morge's dog shit Bonnie video.
Okay, the Bonney video is less less bad. Less. Did you take any notes on it? Because if not, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I have two notes basically. One is about like the graph he showed, where like character time, like time since character was introduced, as opposed to how important they are to the narrative. These things must always match.
Well, wasn't it like a role versus character writings, like importance compared to how much writing they have?
No, yeah, it's something like how long the character's been since
No,
they were
no. The
introduced.
two graphs I'm checking because I sent it in chapter chat because I thought it was funny. The two, it's he doesn't have access. Fucking stupid.
It's like two
Basically, he
graphs.
I don't know why he made it look like this. It's a really bad graph. Basically, he's saying that like characters need to have a balance of how big of a role they have in the story compared to how much writing they have.
Yeah,
Which
and
theoretically, yeah.
yeah, but like thing is, he's very specific about like quantity in this case, which
He does bring up
like
quantity a lot, which is
yeah,
confusing.
like his main example was like Kid versus Law, where Law like had Dressrosa this whole like flashback arc, like his whole thing with Dofi, and he was even in played a role in Punkazzo too, and now like Kid, this new guy is now like teaming up with him and is supposed to be on equal footing with him. How could Oda do that? This is why he wasn't the Vegeta we wanted and stuff like that.
Oh no, he pretended that people didn't like how important Kid was the second the raid started, which is not true.
Yeah,
Early raid, people were still hyping up Kid.
yeah.
The Kid is shit crowd didn't appear until Shanks one shot.
But like the thing I think is really bad about this is basically his main critique is that like Bonnie, like like Gear 5, Bonnie having a Gear 5 form being Luffy's successor, quote unquote, like is too much importance for a character that has not been in the story that long. Which there's two huge problems with that. And A is that like he's making a bunch of assumptions like, oh, Bonnie's gonna join the crew, she's Joy Boy's successor, all that, she's gonna get the straw hat at some point or whatever. And
Yeah, a
then
bunch of
B
things.
and then B Bonnie's been a character since like what, chapter 500, something somewhere around there.
Five something, because that's when
So like
Sabaody
so
started.
she was introduced almost 600 chapters ago, and she's had this and just Egghead alone, the fact that she started in the beginning of an arc and we get her whole backstory, we talk about her a lot.
No, no, no. His argument is that it wasn't her backstory; it was Kuma's.
Yeah, this
Even
is
though
this
she
is
died,
yeah, this is the thing.
which was so
This is my other note.
fucking confusing.
This is my other note, is that he acts like we barely got anything for Bonnie this whole arc, which is just completely untrue. And I remember he has this one very scummy piece of editing in this video where he says like in Bonnie doesn't play that much of a role, and then he shows some group shot where Bonnie's just crammed into the corner somewhere. I'm like, dog, that'd be like if I said, dude, Vivi's not all that important to Alabasta, then I showed like a picture of Zoro versus Mr. One. Like, that's not related at all.
No,
Like, and also like any development Kuma gets will reflect on Bonnie and vice versa. This is a two-way
because
street. That's
she's
how
a child. She's literally gaining all of the memories. So it's not just like she's hearing about it. She is literally seeing and potentially like feeling, because we don't know how the fuck memory linking works. All of that shit. And again, she's like 12, and literally the single most important relationship in her life by like a mile and a half is her dad.
yeah. And so like I honestly feel like we should all be willing to accept that a character who gets a whole arc to, develop and stuff should be allowed to be an important character.
Yeah.
Right? But like
No,
even then his argument falls apart because Bonnie was introduced 600 chapters ago.
yeah.
Like, and
she
same with
had
Kid
build-up
too.
before
And
that.
yeah, and Kid too. And
Yeah.
Kid had a lot of build up going into one. Like, oh, he has his alliance with the Pooh and Hawkins, and then that broke apart. Kaido
And even
defeated Kid
before the raid, he had like his shit with Killer
Yeah.
and like his goofy beef with Luffy, which is really funny.
Yeah.
Also, he brought up something where he said, like, even though he thinks Bonnie is becoming a Straw Hat, so in his mind, a soon-to-be Straw Hat is getting too much screen time compared to the actual main characters, which, of course, the joke I desperately made there was, that's like watching Drum and bitching that Chopper's getting too much screen time. Like,
But that's so
you
weird. He said Bonnie wasn't getting. He
it.
said Bonnie wasn't getting enough that arc, but he also said Bonnie was overshadowing the Straw Hats
No, it
too
was like
much.
too much at once, I guess. It's really confusing.
Yeah.
Because it's just like Egghead's a pretty long arc. Like I'm pretty sure in one of his more recent videos, another bad one, shocking. Uh, he pointed out the fact that Egghead is actually shaping up to be one of the longest arcs in the series. And like, sure, we're not literally always on Bonnie, but we are a lot, especially after the Kuma flashback, which was half Bonnie's flashback. We focused primarily on like Kizaru and Bonnie.
Yeah, and like, or even like Vegapunk, and Vegapunk also has a relationship with Bonnie and
Yeah,
stuff like that. Yeah,
it's confusing. Doesn't make sense.
I know. It's and this is the next one. This was actually about a Bonnie being a Straw Hat. It's that this is kind of like the Yamato is a girl because they're on a color spread with a bunch of girls. At the bottom of this one color spread, it said the Straw Hats like eating something I forget, but like it's the one where they're all in the bubbles and Kum and Bonnie are there too. So because the request was for the Straw Hats to do something, and that like it says the Straw Hats eating whatever at the bottom of the color spread, that confirms that Bonnie and Kuma are both going to be Straw Hats,
Mm-hmm.
which is just no,
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 if the funny thing is,
no.
we used to say, we used to joke, oh, maybe the One Piece fans will learn their lesson. They haven't. They've gotten worse. Admittedly, I did this a little bit with Yamato, but I think Yamato was a justified delusion because he said he was going to join. But shit, fuck, no, it's stupid because like during Whole Cake Island, we didn't do this. I guess we actually did it with Carrot. Fuck, let's go back farther. During Dressrosa, we didn't do this.
I mean, it was
We
kind of there. People wonder like, oh, maybe Rebecca will join, maybe Barto
No,
will
they
join.
did, but we didn't have the thing. Like after Whole Cake Island, it wasn't just Carrot will probably join. It's Carrot's already a crew member.
No,
And after
yeah.
Wano, it wasn't Yamato's going to join. It's Yamato's already a crew member. And now at Egghead, it's not Lilith and Bonnie are going to join. It's Lilith and Bonnie are already crew members. And it's like, when are you people going to learn to wait?
No, well, I guess the idea is that, like, even if some people grow out of that mindset, other people, new fans will grow into it at the same time. And there's just so many of them.
But I feel like we didn't used to be this bad though. Like we've always been stupid. We've always fallen for Oda's bait. Oda knows that he's, but I feel like it's gotten like more like confidently wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's confusing.
Yeah.
What? All right. Oh,
Oh,
one more Bonnie thing. One more Bonnie thing. The whole Bonnie is Luffy's successor or whatever. Luffy's clearly inspiring Bonnie to do a lot of big things, and Luffy acted as a mentor figure to Bonnie. But I hate when people say Bonnie is the Shanks to Luffy's Roger, or like even if
the
Luffy is
Luffy
Shanks, then
to.
Bonnie's Luffy. And the biggest problem with that is that Shanks and Roger were like Roger is decades older than Shanks. Shanks is decades older than Luffy is what? Like fucking 7 years older than Bonnie?
No, dude, he's a reincarnation of Joy Boy. So, like, once he gets those
No.
memories back, he'll be like,
No. Morj would never
we'll
make
add the years. We'll add the
No,
years
you
together.
can't
Luffy will
even
be
do
like
no,
60
you
something.
can't even do that. You can't even do that because that type of cope analysis wouldn't work because Morj would not make that argument.
You're right.
Yes. No, so it's just like Morj would make that argument, but he is making the argument that Bonnie is the fucking Luffy to Luffy Shanks. Just like, no! She could be someone Luffy inspired and definitely mentored more than other people, but like, he's not her Shanks. They're barely apart in age. Like not like she can't be like a new generation after Luffy passes. They're both the worst generation. They are from the same era of piracy. They're the same group.
It's also kind of weird because, like, they're literally teaming up to fight, like, right now. And, like, Luffy and Shanks haven't done that at all. And
Yeah.
as far as we can tell, like, I doubt there was a time where, like, Roger needed to team up with Shanks to beat someone, like, seriously.
No, the implication we got is that like literally they had the kids of the crew go fight. It was like Buggy, Shanks, go fight Blackbeard in the corner. You three
Go with the
over here
kids' table.
squabbling. Literally, it's a kids' table for the top tier fights. Um, So yeah, I'd like Luffy. Like clearly they're gonna have like a mentor relationship, but just the way people talk about it, I don't agree with at all.
Yeah. All right. So, dude, did you know that Franky has hockey?
Oh, that was so. I made that joke, and then a bunch of people actually said it. And I was like, just it was a vague line. It was said, "Were you?" It said, "Yeah, it's because you're using Haki to Sanji, Franky, and Bonney." And like he's definitely talking about Sanji. Presumably Bonnie has Haki,
No,
and
no,
then
no,
like,
no, no,
oh,
no,
did
no, no,
Frankie
no.
magically unlock
No, no, no,
Haki?
no,
You
no,
know
no.
what? If
Yes,
he
yes, yes, yes. He
didn't
did. He
tell
did.
anyone,
He did.
that's super funny, and I hope we never learn when it happened. But no, he doesn't have it. He doesn't. Sorry.
All right. So, speaking of hockey, did you know that Gear 5 is fueled by hockey?
Who the fuck said that?
I believe it was the channel Anime's Balls Deep.
Oh, it does sound like them. And they were talking about Gear 4. They were talking about Gear 5 because they mentioned the old man.
Yeah.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's
I think it's the
actually
anime,
just
right?
not.
The adaptation, right? And all the effects they added that make people think that.
Oh, right, because like whenever his heart would beat, it'd be like the biggest conqueror's hockey burst of all time. So the implication is that they're innately connected. But it's like no, 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 no. Devil fruits and hockey are different things.
Yep. Hmm.
Just
I
like
mean, like
no.
Gear 4, like explicitly is.
Gear
Gear
4, they
5.
they make that abundant. Like literally, when Luffy passes out, everyone's like, "What the fuck happened?" Like, oh, he ran out of hockey,
Yeah.
dumbass. Or it's like, what happens to Luffy when he runs out of Gear 5 is not the same thing. He's not like, "Oh, I'm out of hockey. I'm so tired. I can barely walk." When he runs out of Gear 4, he's like, "Oh, I'm an old man."
You mean when he runs out of Gear 5?
Yeah, no, my bad. When he runs out of Gear 5, he's like, "Ah, I'm an old man. What do I do?"
Yeah. All
It's
right.
very different.
Yeah. All right. So next, this is actually like a cute take, but it is one I have to disagree with. It's that Brook, like the whole story will be reframed as Brook narrating the story because he's older and
Character
like he's
assassination. Why is Brook such an ass narrator?
well, it's just like my problem with it is just that clearly Brook is not an omniscient being and he couldn't be see all of the scenes that we as an audience member get to
Well, like,
see.
and like like even if you want to bullshit, the Straw Hats told them everything. What about the scenes the Straw Hats don't see?
Yeah,
Which
like
is a
Nolan and
lot.
Colger's
They don't see a
flashback.
lot
How
of things. There's a
how
lot
did
of things
Brooke
they
know
don't
about
see.
Nolan and Colger's flashback and
Yeah.
stuff like that? It's just
Also, like, let's just
I
be
think
literal
it's a
now.
very cute
What's
idea and like it's very easy to imagine epilogue where like maybe Brooke it does something of that sort. Like maybe he
yeah.
tells people about Luffy sometime in the future. Like you can it's easy to imagine that. It's just that the specific take that the whole story is being narrated by Brooke is just one I can't agree with. It's a very
No,
peculiar one and it's cute. I like it.
I think it's
But
mostly inspired by that one good fan art of
yeah,
Brook
that
over the
one
Straw Hat
good, yeah, it's a
graves,
real, and
which
it
is
is a
good fan
really good
art.
fan
But you
art.
know,
It is a really good fan art. All
all
right,
right, what's next?
so dude, can you believe how much of a hack Oda is?
Oh, what did he do this time?
He's dropping too many bombs in the SBS. He dropped Luffy's mom in the SBS, man. Can you
You mean he
believe it?
drops the missing Amazon Lily link?
Yes, the one where don't you remember Randy Troy's video?
Fuck, he did make a
Yeah,
bad video. He did
yeah,
do that.
yeah.
I'm gonna
That's
go to
Luffy's
Ohara,
mom.
drop that video. I'm gonna.
That's
Okay, we'll
Luffy's
get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to
mom,
that.
man. I can't believe we just met Luffy's mom. And like, if what else is he gonna shove in the SBS now? Or maybe he's gonna fight like the final Zoro versus Mihawk fight. What if he just drops that in the SBS? Like,
That'd be
what's stopping
so
him now?
bad.
What's
That'd
stopping
be
him now that he
so
dropped
bad.
Luffy's mom in the SBS?
Okay,
What's
so
stopping him?
here's the thing about the SBS. It's all cool supplemental material, and you don't need it. You don't need it. Like I remember I was talking with people in our server. We're like, I wonder what's the most like crucial thing dropped in an SBS. And we talked for a while, and we're like, I don't fucking like
I
Zoro's
think
family isn't actually
yeah,
important. It's
I
interesting, but it's not important.
yeah like the thing I'm most tempted to say is kid's backstory
But even
because
then, that's just like it's interesting, and you can
I think
use
the
it for
story
analysis
works
if you need
perfectly
to.
fine without it, but like it is the one thing where I imagine
Yeah,
like if Oda could like this, I'm actually surprised the anime didn't like do anything with it.
that's just the anime is fucking lame.
Yeah, they don't like I remember they tried to add like this one scene with the for the Kid versus Big Mom fight where like Kid kind of flashes back to when he was like a kid and then like when he was
Oh, or the
with
stuff
all
from
those
the
stills.
latest anime episode where Kid has like goes to like heaven even though he's not dead because he got hit really hard.
Yeah, or
That
no,
was
I
funny.
don't mean the latest one with Shanks. I mean with Big Mom. Like they have
No,
him like
no,
flat.
no. I just mean it's funny that they did something like that again,
Yeah, so
and
like
both times they didn't bring up his childhood friend at all.
yeah, so like it's the type of thing where I can imagine like being incorporated into the story and like something that's actually worth like putting on the page. Whereas something like the missing Amazon Lily Empress is just like, well, who cares? Like she wasn't a character until now, so why should you care?
And she's still not a character. We just got a drawing of her, and she's just a lady.
Or like the whole Zoro's backstory thing, like we talked about this in an earlier Bad Movies opinion, I think. But it's just that like yeah, the fact that Zoro is related to Ryuma is a point that's brought up and like I'd say like worth like acknowledging and like looking at. But
Yeah,
as
but
for
like
the
even without
exact
the SBS, you can still like extract that
no, like
information.
yeah, like obviously you can. It's just that you just had Oda say the quiet part out loud in the SBS, and you know people were also interested in like the direct like Zoro's direct parents, which didn't like play a role at all. Like what's the only important thing is that Zoro is a distant descendant of Ryuma, and like he like in a without like explicitly knowing his lineage, like happens to like carry a similar mindset to Ryuma or like whatever. Like yeah, he inherited his
Right.
will, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just the people will like say the SBS drops too many bombs or whatever, but like
Yeah.
I really don't think does.
No, and here's the thing. Even if it did drop like big things, guys, I thought we all agree the SBS was canon. Why don't you want your canon information from the canon SBS? Like what come on, guy.
I'm not even joking. If you took the Viva cards as canon, they dropped bigger bombs than the
Yeah,
SBS.
they would have.
It gave us the timeline for when Shanks became an emperor, which was totally wrong, by the way. But let's say it's but let's say that that's canon, and the Viva card got it right. That's a bigger bomb than any piece of SBS information, at least that I'm aware of.
And it's not even that huge either. It's just bigger.
Yeah.
What is the
What is
what's the next thing?
next is did you know that Zoro got Odin's Haki from Enma?
Ah,
This is an old. This is. I remember this was like all the Reddit memes were about this when the chapter dropped. When like Zoro first got Enma,
yeah.
and they persisted for a bit. I think. Mainly because I remember like Kaido would say like, I like feel like Odin's presence like in that sword or whatever.
He's always vibes, man. Is vibe.
Yeah, no, like I
Vibe.
straight up, I think it's just the vibes because he also said he's also reminded of Odin when the scabbards attack him, and
Yeah.
I don't even just mean when they do the Odin two sword style thing, like when they first jump him, like when he's
Yeah.
doing his speech, like he says like Odin, oh my god, and it's because like they're using Ryu.
I think Kaido just has trauma from like men from Wano jumping him with swords. I think literally whenever it happens, he's like, "Oh fuck, it's an Odin. I'm having an Odin moment."
Yeah, I mean that's pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's dumb. Oh wait, do you know what that's similar to, Puff?
What's it similar to?
Similar to the whole you can infuse your soul into your fucking sword. Did you know that Mother Carmel infused her soul into the soul fruit? And that when Big Mom ate it, the reason she went from childlike to mean isn't because she grew up raised around evil people. It's because Mother Carmel's soul influenced her to become evil.
All right, there's a problem with the like multiple personality disorder is a term we should take away from people until they earn it back because
Uh-huh.
they will like it's not even just a One Piece thing. Like I remember like in Bleach when Captain Unohana, like when we learned her backstory and like
I sent you that image.
yeah. It's just like whenever a character like turns like has like is duplicitous or like has like a hidden side to them, people immediately go to multiple personalities or like with Blackbeard, like they also say has multiple personalities where it's just
But I think
different
that's working
people.
backwards. That's
Yeah.
not he was jarring and then they found a solution. That was they found an idea and then lied and said he was jarring even though he's not.
Yeah, because like different people will just act differently in different situations. Like when Blackbeard thinks he has the upper hand, he's cocky, and when he loses it, he starts panicking. when Unohana is just like doing her
Maybe don't.
day-to-day
Yeah,
job,
yeah.
she's pretty milquetoast, pretty
When
calm.
she gets to
And then
fight, she goes into fight mode.
yeah, and then with Big Mom, when she's just a careless kid, so like she'll throw a temper tantrum, and she'll flip flop between being a giddy little kid and throwing temper tantrums and accidentally killing a bear or a person or whatever.
Yeah, it's dumb,
Yeah.
and that kind of ties into the whole thing of devil fruits influence the personality of the user, which I also fucking hate.
Yeah.
It's it's stupid. It's dumb. I don't like because it's just like funny. It's kind of funny that in like the series where everyone agrees the core theme is freedom. One of the most popular theories is that no, actually, whenever you eat a power up, you're actually literally giving up your sense of self, which is
Yeah.
unhinged.
And there's no like real evidence for it. It's just
No, the
people.
evidence is literally just like it's just writing, where it's
Yeah.
like, did you know that the heavy metal punk guy has a magnet devil fruit,
No,
and
like
the
the
guy who
real.
was raised by doctors has a surgery devil fruit, or like the manipulator has a string devil fruit? It's like, dog, if you never
Like
read a,
it's
a
the
battle
story.
shonen,
The
if you
story
never read a
just
one,
The story just gives characters superpowers to match their personalities for epic symbolism and metaphors. Um, there's
yeah,
no at all. Every time someone's pointed to a devil fruit changing someone's personality, it's just them refusing to acknowledge that people can like experience more than one like frame of mind or emotion at once. Like unless you're like you can't consistently be angry 100% of the time or consistently be happy 100% of the time. Like Luffy's not always like it's not like Luffy ate the Nika fruit and then like was happy for the rest of his life forever and ever.
no,
Like he gets
that'd be like,
sad, he gets
that'd
angry,
be
he gets
it's just a smile.
yeah, or like Big Mom, like will like she's happy, sometimes she's mad, sometimes she's upset, sometimes
She's also
she's
not a child trafficker like Mother Carmel.
yeah, sometimes she's confused, sometimes she's yeah. It's such basic like things, but like people bring it up so much that
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just like guys, stop making One Piece every other fucking series you've seen.
Yeah. All right. So next is this is one of yours that you've been on for a while. It's that Oars is just a weird giant.
Oh, okay. So basically, so many fucking race theories about what is Ors? What could Ors be? Is he Kaido's ancestor? Is he the fucking original what are the other theories? The original why am I stupid? What's the word? What the fuck is Kuma?
Buccaneer.
Buccaneer. Is he the original Buccaneer? Is he this? Is he that? Um uh I would have confirmed in BS what Ors a long time ago.
Yeah.
He's just a weird giant.
Yeah. And within the setting, this makes like perfect sense because humans have range from normal looking people to giants like Whitebeard or even like people with horns or like
Yeah,
Moria.
they're humans. There are tons of humans with horns. There are
Yeah.
tons.
So it would make
There's
sense if
so many.
some. It would just make sense for some giants to be weirder than others within the setting.
Yeah, like Oda's literally just like, yeah, he's. He may have confirmed he's from Elbaf. I don't remember, but he did just say, yeah, he's a. Yeah, okay, I found it. SBS Volume 49, fuckers.
Yeah. I mean, you could even like
SBS
point to
Volume.
other races like minks. Like Carrot is like what, like 5'3" or 5'2",
Yeah,
something like that.
because
And
she's a
then
rabbit.
Nekumamushi is like what, like 12, 13, 15 feet
Because
tall,
he's a
like some
fat
fucking
cow.
monster.
Okay, no, so Oars might be very big, but is he a giant? If he is, does that mean he's from Elbaf? And then Oda said, you know how there's always one big guy in your class? Oars is a giant, but he's even huger than normal. He's not a warrior of Elbaf. There are multiple islands around the world with giants living on. He's just a big, huge, evil giant from one of those islands. That's Oars.
Yeah.
He's literally just a mutant. He's just a pink, tall guy. Leave him
I,
alone.
dude, I love how the SBS drops too many bombs, dude. But also,
When it drops a bomb
but I
and notices
refuse.
it.
But I refuse to read any SBS that didn't come out like 5 years ago or more.
SBS that came out before I started reading does not exist.
Yeah. All right. So next is oh, this is just a fun thing. Popeye is gonna be public domain in like a year or two, meaning
Oh,
Oda
that's
can,
so
can Oda
awesome.
can just put him in One Piece if he has a mind to. That's a possibility,
He could be a
guys.
vice admiral.
Yeah.
He could box Foxy for like half a page in the final
No, no, no,
war, and
no,
it'd
no.
be
This is what I want.
awesome.
This is what I want. I want in Garp's flashback, like he's a young Marine, and his mentor is Popeye the Sailor. Come on, Garp, you gotta eat your spinach. You gotta eat your spinach. You got big, old strong arms like me, Garp. Come
That'd be Kino.
on.
That'd be Kino. That'd be awesome. That'd be very cool.
Yeah. All right.
What's the next thing?
So next is what's the other bad video Morj made? Do you remember?
Oh, you mean the video so bad his fans abandoned him in the comment? No one. Okay, so Morj, this video is awesome because he's wrong in like 50 ways. So Morj made a very basic video where he, for like the 5th time, has said that Eve is going to get betrayed and it'll probably be Jupiter. I don't think so, but like it's possible. It could happen.
Like sure, like
if I
one
had
the
to-
Gorosei,
okay,
yeah.
I don't think the Gorosei would betray Eve. Like, I think that idea is innately wrong. But if we had to pick one, Jupiter makes the most sense. And he brought up a fair point. Jupiter is the only Gorosei at Egghead that hasn't had like internal monologue yet. That could change like 2 chapters. But he's right so far, and that's a point.
Yeah, no,
He
I
brings
think
up, like,
yeah,
a
like
couple
he
goofy
brings up
points
like
there.
Jupiter's the youngest, and like that's kind of convincing.
That's something.
For
But
that's
then he brings
something
up
at
dumb
least.
shit like he brings up how Dofi had 4 seats, well, 5 seats, while showing an image where Dofi very clearly has 4 seats. He kept saying that Virgo
there's a
was
card
the 5th
theme.
secret seat.
There's
the
a
5th
card
secret
theme.
Seat.
He's
Yeah,
the second
seems-
Corazon, literally the
second as
second
in-
heart seat. Corazon
because
means heart. Diamante
Yeah.
means diamond.
Yeah,
Pika
because
means
his name
spade.
isn't Corazon, it's Roginate. Because Dofi didn't have 5 seats. He had 4, and then a trustworthy guy, which you could. And then if he wanted to make the Enel comparison, which you can, Enel also had 4 priests, and then 1 trustworthy guy, the head priest, whatever the fuck he was, Yama, big fat guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like, no, he didn't have 4 seats, and neither did Enel. Interestingly enough.
Well, like
Or
this
5,
isn't
I
the
mean.
yeah.
They did
This isn't the real meat of the video though.
No, this is just us bitching.
Yeah,
Like,
so
Morj annoys us.
like whatever. If you think one of the Gorsuchum stream, that's perfectly fair to say. But he brings up what's
Oh,
probably
one
like the
other bad thing. One other bad thing. He said that it would be antithetical to the arc if a Gorosei doesn't betray, because the main theme of Egghead is like self-independence and how like you can't control people forever, and
Yeah.
how like choosing to listen to people when you have free will makes you just like a dog or machine. Fucking
Yeah.
Sakazuki. And the thing is, like, he brought up how, like, and think about it, if Eam controls and creates the Gorosei, it makes it even more deep that one of them betrays him. But the thing is, like, the Gorosei have never been depicted as, like, being forced to follow Eam or being, like, even, like, the perfect soldiers. They
Yeah.
just seem to be the old guard who agree with Eam.
yeah. And like one interesting detail I actually
And
think
even then,
about
even
this.
if they did betray Eam, I don't think it would be this arc. I assume it would be a later arc. In
Yeah,
which case,
like,
it no longer
alright,
has
just
to do with
like-
Egghead. We're in a different place.
Like just on the face of it, like could Jupiter betray the other Gorosei before the arc ends and it feel not like rushed at all? I don't think so, considering how
like,
little
it's funny that
Jupiter
he's
has done
like,
up to this point.
Bonnie hasn't earned being Nika, but also Jupiter is going to betray the Gorosei, even though I don't give 2 shits about Jupiter.
Yeah, like the arc could end in like 10 chapters, and I don't think that's enough time to like
Less than
write a
10, actually. We
convincing.
are close.
I don't think that's enough time to write a convincing like betrayal for Jupiter, because we barely know anything about him. Which I guess like to be fair, he's kind of a blank slate, so you could like have him do it now, then justify it later. But like still, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
Time for the second dumbest thing.
Alright,
He said
this is
all of
actual
the
dumb thing.
Gorosei. No, this is the second really dumb. We're not at the peak yet.
Okay, we're not the peak.
He said that all of the Gorosei, except for Jupiter, had very clear designs planned in their silhouette. And even if we pretend that's true for the vague ones, like a bull, a bird, and a thing with tusks, please put this image in the video. I'm gonna send a voice chat. That's not a fucking horse. That's not a horse. That's not a horse. In no world is that a horse.
Yeah,
That's
no,
a
that's not a
guy.
horse. And I remember like we even see like I think it's Venus's silhouette like when we see like Wapple run away, and Yeah, maybe it wasn't Venus's, but like Venus is like on his two back hind legs, or like maybe it's not Venus. I actually don't fucking know now
But
that I think about it.
the
But
point is, all the Gorosei are not super clear, and while I agree Jupiter is, I think Jupiter is the second least obvious because it's just a big head with a mouth. And when we saw the worm, like, okay, that makes.
yeah,
But Venus was the least obvious because in his silhouette he was a man, and then the reveal was, you idiots, he was a horse. So
yeah.
dumb. And like you put a, oh well, he can go centaur mode. And it's like, but then all the Gorosei silhouettes could have just been them with Hagoromo, because all of them can presumably show what they really look like. So that dumb. All
All
right,
right,
actual
no.
dumbest thing he
All
said.
right, so I
The
author fan
sandworm
fiction.
problem.
Author fan fiction is stupid and dangerous, and no one should do it. And this is like maybe the worst example I've ever seen in my whole life.
Okay, so Morj, I'll pull up the
Actually,
image
I
too.
wouldn't say that because it's not like dangerous or like harmful. They're not like
It's just
talking bad
fucking
about a
stupid.
creator or anything like that. It's just like in terms of like raw like logistical analysis, I think it just falls apart so incredibly
Okay, so
on its
that's
face.
the image puff. Okay, so Morj points out that Oda made a sandworm, and sandworms, like the term in like pop fiction to reply to that thing, originated in Dune. That is true, the book.
Yeah.
But and it's also true that Dune 2, the movie, came out I think like 2 weeks or so before the Viz translation of the One Piece chapter.
Yeah.
A million problems with that. And he
Okay, but
said
like before you get to like the
sandworm
relevance here is that Morge thinks that because Jupiter was the only one who didn't have a form planned yet, that means he's by far the least important Gorosei, and that means that Oda like made his fruit at the last second, which could be possible. But also,
yeah.
if he's gonna be the betrayer, wouldn't that make him the most standout member of the Gorosei? Wouldn't you then want to put in the most
No,
effort
but the
for his
point is
fruit?
because he's not gonna fight any straw hats, his power doesn't fucking matter.
But is there ever a case where that applies? Like Viola's
Well,
power matters, and she betrayed Dofi.
yeah, that's true. So no, but pretend it does. All right, so here's the thing. We're gonna go from
Pudding's
least
powers
stupid.
matter a lot, and
Okay,
she betrayed Big
yeah,
Mom.
no, no, you're wrong. All right, let's go in order. So basically, first of all, Sandworm had to come from Oda watching Dune 2. We'll go from least stupid to most stupid. First of all, sandworms. Puff, I don't know about you, but I knew what the idea of a sandworm looked like and what the term meant with that before I knew what Dune was.
Alaskan
Yeah,
bullworm.
no, the thing is, like, even the term sandworm, I had heard it, and I talked to Chas about this too, because he's dumb, and he agreed with me. He and I had both heard the term and knew what one looked like before having seen or read Dune.
Yeah,
That's just the thing. Or like even like this didn't have the term sandworm, but the design is old. The first time I and probably you saw the design for a sandworm was Bakugan.
yeah.
And then
I
okay,
remember
let's go a step deeper than the fact that he could have seen it from pop culture. Um Dune is older than Dune 2. Dune 1 was also extremely popular and it came out what, 2019, 2020?
Yeah, and it's
Person
based
Oda could have seen
on
it.
a very
And
popular
oh no
novel
no no
that
no no no
also
no
got a
no no
movie.
no 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 we have to go back in time.
Okay,
Then
okay.
David Lynch made a Dune movie. It also had a sandwich. And then if we go back even further, Dune is one of the most popular fantasy novel series of all time, and Oda's a fucking fantasy writer. Maybe he read it. Just a thought. And then of course, here's the other thing. You know how he pointed out the times? We'll get to the really funny thing about time. First obvious problem with the times is this being favorable to him. Why did Oda have to get inspired by the sandworm from the Dune 2 movie release? I'm sure. Let's pretend Dune 1 doesn't exist. Let's agree with Morge. Dune 1 is a fake movie.
Yeah, okay.
What if Oda saw a Dune 2 trailer, which definitely had the worms in it? What if Oda saw a Dune 2 popcorn bucket and just thought those were the funniest thing on the
Yeah,
planet?
yeah, yeah.
And then, okay, now that's where he's about to get really dumb. Dune 2 came out March 1st, and the One Piece Viz release came out March 18th. What I have to specify Viz, Morge reads TCB.
Yeah.
Which came out March 15th. So actually, it was exactly 2 weeks before. Fun fact about Jump. It may not be the case anymore for Oda because he's unique, but typically, you turn in your chapter 3 weeks before it comes out.
Yeah, that's
So let's be
standard practice.
hyper generous. Let's say Oda gets a week and a half. That means Oda came up with a design for Jupiter, what, like 3 or 5 days before he turned in the chapter? Excuse me?
Mm.
So that's nonsense. And then let's go.
I'm
Let's go
remembering the
even
funny thing. I remember.
No, you're ready to go even further. Okay, let's go even further. I was sitting around. This is after we had already decided we are going to yell about this. I was sitting around and I was like, Japan isn't America.
What?
So I got
Are you
online,
kidding me? What?
searched around. I
Huh?
found Dune 2's Japan account, and I saw something interesting. The Viz translation of the One Piece chapter, which I assume that's roughly around when the Japanese release comes out, came out March 18th. Dune 2 hit theaters in Japan on a national holiday, for the record, because the Twitter account mentioned. Thank you, Dune 2 Twitter account in Japan. Released on March 20th. So unless Morj, if we believe Morj again, that Oda watched Dune 2 in theaters. First of all, we have to imagine that Oda either came up with
Man. Normal Japanese people would only be able to watch it on the 20th, but Oda is a special little boy, and he got his copy.
No, you're ready for me to break the. Ready for me? So here's what had to happen for Morj's theory to be right. Oda got to turn in his chapter literally like maybe a week early, super fucking late by most weekly mag standards, and then Oda, with his free time, flew to a different country to watch Dune 2. Thought it was so cool. He came up with the sandworm on the spot, flew back to Japan, finished his chapter. And the thing is, like, Morj is like, is it really possible of a coincidence that Oda, because, like, first of all, maybe it's not a coincidence. Maybe Oda really did like Dune 1. Maybe Oda
Or like
really
maybe, or maybe
trailer.
Oda, yeah, maybe he really just saw a trailer and decided he'd do it there.
But here's the thing. Let's pretend none of that's possible. Let's pretend the only other option is Oda did read Dune, or Oda did already know the idea of a sandworm. Is the coincidence that it would air the same month as the Dune 2 movie possible? Yes, One Piece has been running for 27 fucking years. Some coincidences are bound to happen. Have you heard of Simpsons, predicts the future?
Yeah,
It's
because there's
thing.
10 bajillion Simpsons episodes where a bunch of shit happens. You can just find things when you
coincidences happen, especially in a series this long.
Yeah, or like you could even like look at some people like my favorite example is still like color spreads and people pointing at animals. Like there's a leopard in like a color spread from the 100s, somewhere between chapter 100 and 200. Is that foreshadowing Lucci? No, it's just a leopard because animals are cool and there's animals in every color spread.
Yeah. Oh, and then something that commenters probably going to bring up. Yes, I know that the sandworm in Dune is more than likely, maybe confirmed, inspired by the mythical creature, the Mongolian bullworm. But Morj's point is the term sandworm in pop culture is a Dune thing. And then here's the thing. Here's the thing, Puff, because we were talking about this. We're like, is this rage bait? Is this rage bait? And
Probably.
the thing is, like, if it's rage bait, Morj is not good at rage bait, because peak rage bait is my King O'Hara. What a legend. What a guy.
The thing is,
good
he won't
people
spend 10 minutes trying to convince you Oda like saw Dune 2. He'll spend 5 seconds saying some stupid crazy insane shit and then move on, and then a minute later he'll say something else, and then a minute later he'll say something else.
The greatest rage bait O'Hara did that used to annoy me is O'Hara sometimes, instead of saying a character's name, will say this blank guy. Like, instead of saying Sabo's name, he'll randomly flash a picture of Sabo and say this fire guy. And it's like, you know who Sabo is. Why are you pretending you don't know his name?
Yeah, and then a 12-year-old commenter will be like, that's Sabo, you silly goose.
Silly. Yeah. Peak rage bait. Whereas the problem with this is rage bait is like, first of all, Morj, he could be faking it. Sounds pissed off when he explains why. He's like, it's just a fucking worm from Dune. And Morj isn't like me where I say fuck every 2 sentences because I'm a child. When it comes to my vocabulary. He acts like he's genuinely pissed. And it's like, if you are, why are you so pissed about being like wrong? It's like,
no, it'd be like pissed about being right, because like in his head, Oda's doing all this chicanery.
And the other confusing thing is like Morj, like part of Morj's brand is being like a smart analysis channel who owns Oda for baking cringe panels and being bad at writing Wano. But at the same time, like Morj, you can't depict yourself as the smart analysis guy when you're so fucking stupid you don't know what trailers or Dune 1 or jump chapter dates or Japanese release dates or the Dune novels or cultural osmosis is.
Yeah,
you can't pretend to be smart.
We looked through the comments.
Every comment's calling him dumb.
Yeah, which is frankly like great, and I'm proud of them.
Yeah, because like See, that's the thing. Morj is supposed to be the smart guy.
Yeah,
So when
like
he
he
says
built
like
up this
dumb shit that
reputation.
sounds smart,
Yeah.
it works. But this is like so unilaterally stupid. No one's
And
with him.
like again, this is the big thing. What does any of this have to do with Jupiter betraying Emu?
Because
Even
Morj
if we
puts way too
take,
much
even if we
stake into
just take it,
planning.
yeah, even if we
Because
just
Morj
take
puts way too much
this,
stake
yeah,
into
yeah, even if we just take it on its face that he did come up with Jupiter's like abilities, like last minute, why does that make him the betrayer? Where's the logical through line there?
He explained it, but I don't buy it.
Like the logical through line is like, oh, because he's not gonna fight his triad, his powers don't matter at all. So Oda wasn't thinking about his powers at all
Even though
whatsoever.
usually traders using their powers in a way that lets them get away with betrayal is like a big thing.
Yeah, no,
That's
that's
how
what we said.
Pudding gets away with betrayal.
Wouldn't Jupiter being the betrayer make him stand out amongst the Gorsane? Therefore, his powers should be like more important than the others if he's gonna be the one, the
Like
the
generally
standout
speaking,
Gorsane.
in most battles here, like a lot of battle shonen, the reason you're allowed to do such cool twist trader reveals is because powers can play a part in that. Like that's why it's cool. You're allowed to use your powers to like Aizen.
All right, but like, wait, Aizen's like a
Aizen's
villain.
allowed to do all that shit is
Wait,
'cause he
but
has a power.
Aizen was pretending to be a good guy. We need to find an example of someone pretending to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
Because or Morge loves his lack of parallels.
Itachi.
Yeah. And what's
And
Itachi's whole thing?
powers.
Illusions.
Wow.
Illusions.
Crazy.
Wow. Wowie
He
zowie.
can fake shit if he needs to. Yeah, same thing. It's almost like shit like illusions, fucking with memories, stuff like that makes it a lot easier.
All right,
for
but hold
someone
on.
to
We
be
gotta find an example in One Piece because I hate pointing to other anime as an example because other people do that way too often.
Okay, fucking with memories. Pudding wasn't pretending to be a villain, but she was someone who is a traitor, and her powers were like integral to her being a traitor.
Yeah. And hold on.
Like it's not like
Or like
Oda had to have
Beje,
them
right?
planned.
Like
It's more just,
Beje wasn't gonna be someone Luffy fights, but he had a very important power, and it was very important for like sneaking the Strides into the party, for like hiding everyone inside of him when like they were found out, and Big Mom tried beating up on his castle,
yeah,
stuff like that. So,
because it's just like Oda. If Oda has a betrayer planned in the Gorosei, he probably has plans around. And like you could bullshit a lot of things, like maybe it's a power plan, we changed the design, blah blah blah. The point is, Morge's nonsense fanfic doesn't support his video because I think
yeah.
if he only made a video about Jupiter's a traitor and didn't include the sandworm tirade, the video would have been received positively.
Yeah, it would have been perfectly fine. Like sure,
it would have been.
I'm not like we're not a fan of most of
his.
We're not a fan of most of his points, but at the end of the day, the idea of Jupiter being a traitor is like perfectly fine by itself. Like if you think one of the ghosts is gonna betray you, sure.
Like his video and we don't is every Morge video. We hate it and his fans do. That's rare.
But and then if he made like a separate one thinking I think Jupiter's powers were established at the last minute, but because he's using one as evidence for the other, it just like kind of weakens his whole argument because there's no real like through line between them.
Yeah.
It almost felt like just an excuse for him to talk about his author fanfic for like just to cram it into another video with a clickbait thumbnail.
It's the joke you would make with your friends right when there was a joke on Twitter for like a week. It's like, lol, someone watched Dune 2. And that was a joke on Twitter for like a week.
Yeah.
Not a real talking point because it's obviously stupid. So, yeah, that was the worst. What's next?
Yeah, okay. So, next is the comments.
All right. We actually got a lot haven't talked about for a while because we did a different video instead. All right, here we go. First of all, Dr. Matthew 1788. You don't need to force yourself to comment. You don't have to. It's okay. You can stop. You don't have to force yourself. Thank you, but you don't have to.
Please force yourself. The more comments, the better. That applies to all of you. All of you. That applies to all of you. Okay, get to it.
Let's see here. What are my thoughts on the live action cast? I think literally all that happened is I sent a picture and I was like, imagine this regular woman playing Miss Valentine. I hate the live action, and I think that's all that I said. It's just like, second season, it's gonna suck because the first one sucked.
That's my thoughts. I'm not exactly looking forward to it. I doubt I'll even watch it. Like,
Oh, here's the thing: the discourse is going to be the worst because it's going to be everyone glazing garbage again. But I'm excited because they were already pushing what they could do with shit like Arlong looking terrible, Usopp not having his nose, the stretching looking bad a lot of the time. Now they're entering the saga with Sandman, Metal Man, Bomb Man, Giant Whale, Giant Fish, Giants. They're fucked, and I want to see it. I want to see it.
Yeah,
So I'm
okay.
excited.
It might be fun to see, like, like, and again, like, I can find like enjoyment in like bad media or media that makes me upset, just because, like, I'm gonna admit I have fun screaming about how bad the Zoro versus Mihawk fight was in the live action, how Sanji should have
The
been
fact
there.
that we
I get a
watched,
certain kind of joy out of that, so maybe I'll like try and
we
maybe I'll
watched
watch
The
the
Rise
second
of
season.
Skywalker last week, and
Oh
we
my
had
god, dude, don't. That was actually the worst movie I've seen in like a long time. Oh my god. Like,
guys, for
all
the
right,
record,
I
just for
like listen.
context.
I think most Star movies are mid as fuck, and I don't care about them.
Mhm.
But The Rise of Skywalker was dog shit, man.
Guys, guys,
Dog
how much Puff
fucking
didn't like
shit,
it?
man. Oh my
Only
god.
the only Star Wars movie Puff was tempted to not call mid was The Last Jedi. And the movie The Rise of Skywalker tramples the most is The Last Jedi. So that's why Puff hates it even more than the average fan.
Oh my god.
Um, okay, all right, next. He talks about the Bonney power system. Apparently King of Lightning was the one doing the power systems ruined, which I believe. Next, what are our thoughts on films and filler episodes? A daunting question, but I want to know our thoughts on all the films and filler episodes. I haven't seen enough films. I've given my opinions on the ones I care about. The first One Piece film is
Don't
like
you mean filler
captures.
episodes?
No, he talks about both.
Okay.
Okay, so for films, I think the first film captures peak East Blue vibes. It's like actually phenomenal. I think it's great. Baron Matsuri is a weird Eno masterpiece. Strongworld's really good if you ignore the power scaling. Um, Z is actually not very good. I think like
Z
Zephyr's
has a
great.
really great antagonist at it, but like the movie overall is just kind
Whenever
of like.
Zephyr isn't on screen, I'm not liking film.
Well, I mean, like it's if Zephyr's not on screen or Aokiji's not on screen,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. If those two aren't on
The
screen, I'm not
movie is
having.
like really slow. Otherwise, like
It also has like one of the worst Sanji gags of all time.
yeah, that's true.
No, I don't like that one. Gold. I think Gold's a romp. I have a good time with Gold. Gold's a romp, and
Gold is fun. Like it does what I wish more of the like One Piece like filler
it
would
doesn't
do.
try to tie back too closely to the canon.
Yeah, and it just gives us a new fun location to have a cool adventure in, and
Oh yeah,
that's
no,
always.
the beginning. Well, that's the thing that I think a lot of the new One Piece movies do super well. The beginning of Strong World, where all the Straw Hats are getting attacked by the monsters, like especially the beginning with a really good soundtrack, where the monsters are like dominoing each other.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. I love that. Film Gold, seeing all the Straw Hats dress up and go casinoing, phenomenal. I love it. It's
Zephyr,
so
Film
fun.
Z didn't really do that, and neither did
We saw
Strong World.
young
Or no, not
Robin
Strong World.
dance.
Stampede. Stampede doesn't do that.
Stampede, well, Stampede gets like character interactions. Okay, genuinely. Okay, here's the one nice thing I'll say about Stampede. I have one. There's one scene in Stampede that I love to this day, and it's during the beginning where all the supernova are racing up the track because Luffy is running along sheer rock. It's tall, it's huge, it's a giant thing of rock. And a rouge comes out of the rock. Like it's not a wall, it's a rock, and it comes out. And it doesn't make any sense. It's startling, and it's one of my favorite things. It's just like, oh my god, a rouge is here. Where did he come from? It's great. I love that scene. It's one of the best scenes
I
of all
think
time.
in one of my first YouTube videos when I talked about the One Piece films, I said that I wish that Stampede was just about the supernova and like that's it.
That could have been
Uh,
fun.
I think that would have been fun because like they were like fan favorites for a long time, and
They
just
could
like
have just been like
having
condensing
more.
interaction.
Yeah, just having them interact with each other throughout the film, and like that being the big team up to defeat Bullet, like would have been like that would have been solid. That's a solid foundation for a movie instead of the
It still wouldn't
fucking
have been that good
popularity
though.
instead of the popularity poll lineup we got to fight Bullet, like the
Uh,
literal popularity poll.
like the thing is, like, I'm the type of person who normally uh loses my mind when my favorite character shows up for half a panel. It's the only reason I read Comey Can't Communicate. Genuinely, that's the only reason I read that manga. Um, but like when
Down
Foxy shows
bad
up for
for
half a
Arissa.
second, she was in a chapter recently. Let's go. She's there. I saw her standing. Let's go. No, but it's like Foxy shows up for half a second. I'm like, oh my god, it's my king. Then he doesn't do anything, and I'm like, well, now I'm sad. Whereas like I can watch Adventure in Nebulandia, where Foxy has redemption arc, where he teams up with Luffy to save his boys. And that's my shit.
Yeah, this is one of the big points I remember in that movie that I made was just like, all right, I'm not a, like, if I was a Hancock fan, I'd be a lot more happy watching, 3D2Y, where, like, she gets her own fight, she gets, like, to interact with Luffy a lot,
She
instead of
gets
just, like,
some.
having her show up,
She makes
call
really
Luffy her love,
funny,
and then get angry, and then do,
she
like,
makes really
like, that's the
funny
thing about,
noises at Luffy.
that's the thing about Stampede, is just, like, everyone shows up and says their line that they said 1,000 times before already, and then leaves.
I think 3D2Y is a great example, actually, because, like, even in Stampede, one of the characters who's on, like, a lot of the promotional art is Buggy. And the only good thing Buggy does is Stampede is it's implied before the movie started he fucked up Law, which is hilarious. But then 3D2Y, Buggy
he gets to
so
fight the cube guy.
He's so funny. He's so funny.
Yeah, no, like literally, like they're like, oh, this Burundi warlord's a big deal. We better call in the warlords, and it's like this is Buggy's first job as a warlord. He's like, all right, let's do it, boys.
Let's fuck shit up. Remember, he literally has like a "go on without me" scene.
Yeah.
I love 3D2 is super funny and super good, and I
you
even
go
like
on,
it.
Luffy. Leave this guy to me.
I even like them adding like some bullshit Luffy inventing Red Hawk. Why the fuck not? Who cares? Sure.
Yeah.
I haven't seen most of the other movies. Or like if I have, it's been a while.
Yeah, I remember I watched through all of them once. I forgot like what most of them were because I frankly.
Horcrux Island was whatever. I don't care. Most of them were whatever. Filler. I think G8 is overrated. I like
all
it.
right, I have like a small list of like standout examples here. All right, so the dragons, which was the first one, I remember revisiting it like a year and a half ago or something. No.
It's fine. Funniest part is that Nami kills a guy.
Yeah. So Ocean's Dream Arc, it turns out that the one about like the seahorse that like removes everyone's memories, apparently that's based off a video game plot for One Piece.
It's promo.
And I didn't know that until like a week ago, and I'm like, holy shit. Holy shit, man. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's funny.
That makes me kind of like it more in retrospect, because I respect that idea a bit.
You like Ice Hunter a lot more than I do.
I know, but just to get back to the thing, I want like One Piece filler in general, just because, like, you know, give the anime more time to get ahead so they can make the pacing better later on. But like if they did filler for some of the video games, like imagine Redfield, like from World Red, getting a filler arc where he gets to fight Luffy or whatever the hell. It's like, that sounds goofy as hell. It's stupid, but it would be fun, I think.
And then like other big arcs, Ice Hunter arc. You like it more than I.
I remember liking it because like I just remember like some standout gags that made me laugh. Like I remember this is one example where like Usopp and Sanji are teaming up against these two bounty hunters, and you know Sanji's like they're standing on ice, so Sanji can't get any like, you know, a foothold to do a proper kick. So he says, Usopp, get on your hands and knees real quick, and then like he jumps on top of Usopp, and he's like, now I got proper like traction, and then like he's able to kick properly. Or like how these other two bounty hunters, like, you know, they have like these magnet abilities where they can attract and repel each other. And it's like, whoa, what devil fruit did you guys eat? And it's like, devil fruit? We're just twins.
That is funny.
We're just twins. That's what twins do.
Speaking of funny, the first episode of the Spa Island arc.
Peak.
We were just cackling. We were just cackling.
Peak. No other word. Like I remember this one great gag where like Usopp goes to the top of the diving board, Chopper's like, oh my god, don't do it, Usopp. Then he covers his eyes because he's so scared. Then Usopp like runs all the way down and then like jumps into the pool. it's like, look, Chopper, I'm fine. I did it.
That first the rest of the arc is fine, whatever. It's just funny. It's just a funny arc, and it's a cool idea where it's
Foxy is Team Rocket.
Yeah, oh yeah, it is. And it's the setting's cool because it's like a corrupt guy who lets pirates onto this island even though he's marine funded, because as long as he gets money he doesn't get shit. It's like, that's fun. That's a fun setting. Yeah. Overall, it's first episode of that was just like good quality, because here's the thing, all I want from like short filler arcs is I just want funny entertainment. That's all. Yeah.
Give us more fun gifs to post on Twitter and some such.
Quite literally.
Yeah.
Silver Mine arc, the wheel guy's funny, and all I
Dude,
care
I
about.
love the train guy. That was a great just that guy alone justifies the whole filler arc, even though it's all like boring and bad. But he's great. That
Yeah.
just because he's great and I love him. He's so cool.
One that's kind of popular that I don't fuck with is what's it called? What's that fucker's name? All
All
Hunt
Hunt Grout,
Grout.
the guy
I
with the
don't
big monkey arm.
I don't like him.
It's whatever.
Grout. Yeah, it's kind of
I
like
do think it's
mid.
funny how like they implied like, oh dude, the next generation of Marines, and then like a
Filler
few years later down the road, we get like the actual new generation Marines, which is
with
Sword.
Kobe and Grooves.
Yeah, it's
No, it's
Sword.
even funnier. Is this next generation was trained by fucking Kuzan? That aged like milk. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Because it's like Kuzan, as we later learn,
And like
kind
even
of,
yeah.
kind of. There's a reason he's not like a big marine guy, even when he's part of the Marines.
And even
Um,
then, like the whole next generation Marine thing was kind of like already a thing in Ennie's lobby when Garp showed up and he's like, hey,
yeah,
these two like brats from chapter 2, I trained them to be tough boys, and they're gonna be even tougher
yeah.
boys down the road.
Um, uh, all the movie filler arcs are. I don't care. I don't care at all.
You know what's
The one with the
one?
girl who can turn into a giant sucks though.
I do think it's funny how Momonga fights Zoro, and that like carried the Momonga bandwagon for like a year
Yeah.
and a half.
Oh, the shit on Stampede even further. I love how the Hancock filler with Luffy is just inserted. It's just inserted. It doesn't belong here.
Yeah, like
Even
they didn't like they just cut away from Wano to like, oh hey, Luffy hanging out
yeah.
with Hancock
Like
on
Film Red did
other
that
island.
too, but at least Film Red's is a fucking flashback, so it wasn't that weird. And then actual peak filler was the Caesar retrieval arc.
Oh yeah, dude, that fan service we got of Luffy versus Law in a fist
When
fight.
they're fist fighting,
Mwah,
the fan
mwah.
service for me, no, the fan service for me was when the Kung Fu Dugong came back with Haki. That was
Yeah,
my fan
boy,
service.
yeah.
That's my thing. So I love
Immaculate.
that.
That's fun.
Conclusion overall, I don't think most One Piece filler is good, but I still want more of it.
Yeah. Like at the end of the day, it's kind of like a low risk, low reward. Where just like if it's bad, then who cares? It's filler. You don't have to think about it. Or if it's good, that's another funny thing to put in the back of my head, in my like
Yeah,
little One Piece memory
it's the thing we
box
say
now.
all the time. I would prefer One Piece had a long filler arc, and then instead of what we have now, for once every 10 episodes, we'll get a Sakuga scene or a good episode where they extend a whole chapter into a fucking movie. What if instead we got a filler arc and then just a good arc?
Yeah.
It'd be cool. Like, I mean, that's hard for Egghead and Wano because they were both long as shit.
Yeah.
But I still think we should have had a filler arc before Egghead because it was such a good
Yeah.
opportunity.
Also, like again, like with the whole final saga thing happening, like this might that would probably be the last good chance to insert one because
Yeah.
at that point all the characters are like scattered across the globe. They're not doing anything in particular. At least most of them aren't. So you can do whatever the hell you want, pretty much. Whereas like now that
Yeah.
we're after Egghead, like I imagine it's gonna be like, oh, we gotta get like a certain goal in mind or some such, or maybe like the crew will get split up again in the final
Yeah.
saga, which is pretty likely. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, next comment. You saying that basically they pointed out that the One Piece world is transphobic, like the guy that Eva forced transitioned was because their parent became a laughing stock for transitioning. And my point isn't that the world at large is, it's that pirates don't really care. If you can beat the shit out of them, pirates don't really have the time to make fun of your appearance because they're worried you're gonna beat the shit out of them. That's why I brought up like in the pirate world, Eva is just scary because Eva can kick your ass.
Yeah.
Where it's like no, because the thing is like we said, crocodile. If we pretend that the theory holds any water, could have plenty of reasons for wanting to hide that he's trans, but getting made fun of by pirates is not one of them. Same with like the misogyny. Someone pointed out that the One Piece world is misogynistic, which it is, and pirates can be too. However, a top tier woman pirate, again, it's like Big Mom. You have the clout.
Or
No one's
Boa.
gonna fuck with you. No one's gonna fuck with you. The only one who tried is Teach because he's a fucking asshole.
And even then, Teach is literally like an emperor. They fuck with everyone.
Yeah.
Like no,
And
like
even with Hancock, she's supposed to be unique because like she's literally the most beautiful woman. So it's like, oh, and Hancock kind of wants you to be horny for her because that's how she fucked you up.
Yeah.
Um,
Like I
let's
would say like
see.
pirates like tend to care about appearances less because like that's the whole thing is like freedom, you be who you are or whatever.
Yeah,
We don't care about like uniforms or sticking to like a status quo or whatever. We all came out here to go our own way, and we're gonna fight each
yeah.
other for going our own way, and that's the kind of the
Next is two
end of it.
comments I responded to, so I'm not going to talk for that long. Um, Basically, someone pointed out, I pointed out how I hate videos that do hardline reading. Like Kaido has to be Big Pharma. The Fishmen have to be the American Civil Rights Movement. And they pointed out, well, isn't it good to use those videos to teach people about history? Yes, you can use fiction to teach people about history, but quit it with your hard line readings. I hate you because it leads to worse discourse overall.
Yeah, like there's a
That's
difference.
it.
Like there is a difference between saying like Kaido represents Big Farm or like what Kaido does is like similar to what this guy did or what this guy did throughout
Yeah,
history. Like the difference between like this is my concrete reading of the work and this is how you can apply this reading broadly. And even then like with the
yeah.
Kaido Farmer one, I think the reason why that's like a good example is because Kaido being Big Farmer doesn't fit very well with like
No.
99% of what he
Whereas,
does in Mono.
here's an example of using One Piece as a transitionatory thing. One Piece has a big thing where found family is based in cool and awesome, and it approves like unconventional families and adoption. Fun fact: in Japan, most adoptions are done by wealthy families adopting an adult man to run the business for them. So, like, and also in Japan, adoption has like a lot of scrutiny. Like, even like within legal things, it's really hard to change what family you're represented under, even if you get adopted. So One Piece being so pro adoption is interesting when you read it within the lens of Japan and their adoption thing. Notice how I'm not saying One Piece is literally a stand-in for Japan's adoption. I'm just pointing out how, oh look, a Japanese author talked about family, and adoption a lot. Let's look at what Japan has to say about. Like another really obvious one is like the 100% conviction rate at Eni's lobby. You'd be like, oh, that's kind of similar to how Japan has like a 99% conviction rate. Interesting.
Yeah.
And then you do a transition. Next, someone said we were too mean to Noonon. If we were, we're sorry. We like him. We just
Yeah.
want him to be better.
Honestly, like
Like,
compared to like how we talked about like Morj or Horror, like I didn't think we were that mean. Maybe we were, and I'm just not self aware
I think I
enough
called him
to.
a coward once, but that's because he wouldn't say a bad shonen when implying some shonen were bad, so I stand by that. Basically, we like Noonon. We
Yeah.
think we like that he's like a genuine YouTuber who's doing it for the fun and because he likes making videos and he's
Yeah.
clearly having fun. That's why his
Yeah.
afterwards are sometimes longer than his videos, and it's really fun.
Yeah.
And he does make good points, and he does cool shit.
Yeah.
I
I
don't.
hope I
It's
didn't
weird to say.
forget to. I hope I didn't forget to say this, but like I'm rooting for him. Like I think I said that in the
We
last
did. We
video.
said that.
Yeah.
We want him to go up in the world and get better because he's so cool.
Yeah,
He's so
I'd rather
cool.
watch him than watch O'Hara. I'm only watching O'Hara because I have a series called Bad One Piece Opinions.
Yeah. Let's see here. A lot of YouTubers saying that the new Empress of Amazon, Lily, it has the implication that Bo and Luffy are siblings, but Randy Troy got fucking ripped off by O'Hara. O'Hara, you money hungry rat.
How
I'm
dare
kidding.
you? Randy
O'Hara, I'm
Troy put
kidding.
his heart and soul into that
No,
terrible theory. You don't get to
I'm
just
kidding.
take it, you
O'Hara, I'm
grifter.
kidding. I love you, but you are a clout chaser. No, because I say that like he's listening. He's not. I do love O'Hara. He's just a clout chaser. No, what I said about O'Hara is not a soulless. He's not soulless. He's a man with his soul who will put it aside to make a YouTube video.
He'll put it in a little
Sorry.
box before he
Yeah.
turns the camera on.
No, because like the thing is like Randy Troy's theory was super popular, blew the fuck up. He said it's like easily his biggest One Piece theory. And then O'Hara recently made a video where he talked about, oh man, doesn't this recent One Piece chapter imply that wait, what was his fucking reasoning? It was Clover is a D, therefore there are probably other D on O'Hara, which does not make sense. There is no other island that follows that trend. Um even Luffy's island, because Ace is Roger's kid, and Roger's from fucking
Yeah,
Logtown.
Ace wasn't born there. He moved there because Garp put him there.
Yeah, yeah. It's not like a common thing that multiple D families are from one island. It's not a fucking thing. No, but so basically he said that, and then he said, therefore, Robin's family, therefore Robin's mom must be a D. And oh yeah, he brought up Roger too. His first one is, what if Roger's just a scumbag who's running around fucking as many women as he can to try and make a chosen one? And it's like, I don't buy that because they said he was madly in love with Rouge.
Well, I mean,
That is a
they
fucked
said
up
like he
reason.
was acting like a man in love, so I like to
Right. So,
imagine
oh, what if
that
he
like
was faking it?
yeah.
So now I'm just and then with the Roger one, he's brought it up. He brought up like, oh, Will of D. What if it's Dragon? What if Dragon is fucking? What if Dragon it was fucking Olvia? And it's like, no, no. And he did the same Randy Troy thing. Randy Troy's got me more angry because he meant it more. But he did the whole. Some of you may dislike it, but to me, a man saving his sister unknowingly is just so touching. It's like, I'm gonna eat your face. I hate you. um, no, what I said is like, it's not as bad as like Puff hates Sanji Lunarian more than we do. And one thing
I
that
get
Sanji
very mad.
Lunarian has going for it is it's objectively wrong by the evidence in the story.
Yeah.
Whereas like my
my real problem is that like it tries to
so...
make the story more logical, but also logically contradicts the story
Yeah.
like in 10 different ways.
No, it's also thematically inconsistent.
Yeah,
Luffy
and that's
being
even
Robin's
just good.
sibling is not objectively wrong by like any metric, but it is thematically inconsistent. And the people acting like it'd be so sweet and wholesome get me so angry because it's such a bad theory.
It's already sweet and wholesome. Get off yourself.
No, basically, it gets me as mad as Sanji Lunarian does, even though it's less bad, because it irks me to no end. No, here's the thing though. I showed the Randy Troy clip to Chas, and he got just as mad as I did. Something about his delivery brings that out of people. His delivery in that scene, it's like he knows what he's doing. All right, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Nothing else from the last video. Let's check. Nothing else from the last one. Let's check the fairy tale one. Maybe we have some general things. One thing I guess we didn't make clear enough.
This is one other thing about One Piece is that about the alchemic symbolism that like we talked about last time. It's just that like like I think someone said, but dude, like why would you
watch a video that would teach us the connection? But the thing is, they recommended a channel, and that channel has a lot of videos, none of which were titled alchemy. And I asked them for a video, and they didn't give me one. So
like
if
this
there's
is
actually an alchemy connection, I have not seen it on my own, and I have yet to find a video that convinces it.
yeah, but the thing I was gonna bring up is that like I think we got comments saying, but dude, why would you like discourage someone from trying to read the story symbolically? What's wrong with the alchemic stuff? And it's like I think I don't like it because Roger has his crew, like he's gold, Rayleigh is silver. Yeah, but the thing is like if you apply the alchemic thing consistently, then that means Rayleigh represents like mystery and femininity.
And the moon, which is really confusing.
Yeah. I don't see that with Rayleigh at all. So I feel like if like this is like the motif with like Roger's boys that his top 3 boys are named after these 3 minerals, and only one of them ties into alchemic symbols in a deep way. I think that's just kind of like
it's weird.
And also
right,
also dude, don't you love how in Baruch we got Don Krieg with his gold-plated armor, Geen, whose name means silver, and then Pearl, who like it's a thing. Pirates love treasure, so like some of them are named after minerals.
So the ultimate pirate is named after treasure. It's simple. Next, all right, we're gonna just go through the fairy tale thing. I'll find anything that isn't too fairy tale centric. One of the first ones was just like problematic elements of fairy tale. We can apply this to everything. All media is problematic to a degree. How much is a deal breaker differs from person to person. That is fine.
It's just that like when you're in a goofy fantasy setting, or like when it's done for sake of comedy, I'm a lot more willing to let people get away with problematic behavior, or characters to get away with problematic behavior. Like Juvia being a creepazoid is like a funny thing when I'm watching a cartoon lady do it. If it happened in real life, yes, we should stop that, but it's not happening in real life.
I think it's also just like like everyone has their. It's like
if we applied this like hard
sins is our limit.
Yeah, no, if we applied this like consistently, then you're never allowed to like any real villain at all because they're bad people. No. Like objectively, they killed someone. How can you like someone like that?
But no, I think it's different. There's a difference between like a villain who's evil and like a series just casually doing something problematic and weird. An example is like I like Bakuman a lot. It's really good. But also there was that one really weird line early on where he's like, "Hey, that smart woman it knows that to be an ideal woman in society, you have to be a fucking submissive wife. What a genius! So he's treated as normal for saying that. It's like that's weird.
There's
But
a weird
who
like
means
purity
out?
fag thing going on
Oh
in
yeah,
Bakuman.
God, I forgot about that. Bakuman's really. Oh, there you go. That was problematic. We got Puff. No, but Bakuman does like a weird purity theme, which I don't like. But I like
I
Bakuman
still like
anyway
to call
because it
them
teaches
purity
me about
fags.
Shonen Jump.
Yeah,
Yeah, see, look,
purity fag is just
we
such
got
a perfect word for
yeah.
it. I
See,
think.
look, we have problematic in the cult. We have not in the cult. We have problematic in the channel. We have Puff.
Yeah.
All right. Next.
What would you prefer? I say
Let's see here.
purity sexual because that's not as funny.
That do people say that?
No, people say purity fag.
Those are not. Those no words don't mean the same. Whatever. Okay. Whatever. Those words don't mean the same thing. No. It does have a weird purity culture theme that I don't like at all. All right. Next. Blah blah blah. One thing I feel like we probably didn't clarify enough during the last fairy tale vid is we like fairy tale.
Yeah, I thought that
Because
was
there's a bunch of comments who were just like saying nothing, being like, yeah, fairy tale is generic and bad. It wastes opportunities. But I'm not going to say which ones. It's like, guys, we like fairy tale. If you're going to call it bad, substantiate your. Oh, and then here's one I like. Someone clarifying. In Final Fantasy, materia is not an old term. What I was thinking of is the way you equip materia are in old Final Fantasy games are called spells, but their names and the way you equip them is the same. That's what I was thinking of.
yeah, like
My
Blizzaga,
mistake.
Blizzara.
No, and then no, just like the way you equip them, where you go in and it's like, oh, your character could hold this many, and different types are better at holding different kinds. Whatever. I just thought materia was a consistent. Oops.
Oh god,
I
that's two strikes, Shiki. That's two strikes.
I don't care if I'm wrong. I don't care. I like 7, and I was having fun with 3, but I haven't finished it. That's all you're getting out of me. Nothing else for that, I think.
We also have someone ask us to talk about Buggy's Awakening, which
The fucking atomic funny theory, but I don't care. Buggy's a goofy little guy. That's all that matters.
I think it would be very funny if Buggy never becomes an actual badass and just remains like a scumbag with a heart of gold for the rest of the manga.
Yeah,
I say
I
a
think
heart
it'd be
of
funny
gold,
if
but it's
Buggy
not
never
really a
gets
heart
it.
of gold. It's more like
Well,
a heart of
no, I think Buggy will
bronze.
probably do something badass, but I don't think he's ever going to become strong.
Yeah. It'd be very funny if somehow someone copied his fruit, then awakened, and it was like super overpowered. That'd be
Okay,
funny.
that'd be hilarious if they made a Buggy Seraphim and
Yeah.
it's busted and Buggy's and everyone's just staring at him and he's like, "What? What do you want me to do? I'm 46 years young."
No, I'm just imagining the Buggy Seraphim like facing down some like an army, and he just touches the ground and says, "Chop, chop," and then like suddenly the whole ground like disappears and like becomes like a bunch of sand and ash. And it's like, what do you do? It's like, I split apart the ground on a molecular level.
Even like Buggy
No.
Seraphim like splits into really thin pieces and uses himself as like a blade. And Mihawk's just glaring at Buggy and he's like, "What? I'm just a little guy. What do you want me to do? How do you want me to beat him?" That'd be really funny.
That would be funny.
I think that's it.
Uh oh, but one other thing I forgot to bring this up about the Gorsei traders thing is that I think one interesting thing about the Gorsei is that they seem to have Conqueror's Haki. Maybe they don't all do, but like we've seen
Which
some of them
is
do. And
yeah.
I think that's kind of interesting because like that implies that like they are conquerors in their own right and they're not like being brainwashed by Emu. They're
Yeah,
like
they're not
like
solely
they seem to be
submissive.
following him out of a genuine sense of loyalty.
Yeah, or even the fact that they all have like they're all called war gods and they each have like very giant titles. Like war god of all military science, war god of all finance, which is where 90% of our Gorosei jokes come from.
Yeah. Venus the finance guy. The accountant.
Yeah. It's just like they seem pretty independent already. They just genuinely, wow, shocking. Guys who are definitely celestial dragons are just racist and like racism? Impossible.
They like
So
being the
yeah,
1%. Doesn't make sense, dude. I don't
so
like the
yeah,
1%. Why should they like the 1%?
so yeah, racism in the One Piece world is common, and the guys who like it are bad.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's Oh wait, didn't we get another fucking "you need to be traumatized" thing?
Traumatized for
Fuck.
what?
No, no, remember, it was O'Hara. It was O'Hara. O'Hara said that Dragon, because he's hard boiled and macho, which he's not, wouldn't bring flowers just because a whole island got genocided, or even because his friend died. He would only bring flowers if his lover died.
Dude, like, if you're a real macho man, you don't care if a whole island worth of people dies and is destroyed for
Including a friend of
despicable
yours.
for
Because he was
despicable,
friends with Clover.
no good, very bad reasons. You only care if a woman who had your seed at one point died, because then you're like,
No,
oh
no, it's
no,
not that he was
I
friends with
failed
Clover, it's
to
that he may
my
have been.
offspring. My biological offspring function failed.
Yeah.
Oh well, got him go on to the next one. Maybe that'll be the
Basically,
chosen one.
Dragon's a military general and a deeply compassionate person at heart, so it makes sense that, like, when a group of people, some of whom he may have known personally, died, he would be sad about that because he's he's a person.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's about what you it's about what you
I
expect.
love O'Hara. Love him to death. All right, that's it. Good night.